Hey everyone, it's Steve. Welcome to do-sha Life, where we talk about martial arts, learning, and the journey. What does do-sha mean? I'll come back to that in just a minute. First, let's talk about what martial arts means. Martial arts, two words, right? Martial from the Latin martialis, meaning military, warlike, or of Mars. If you hear the word martial in there, Mars is Ares, the Roman god. Well, Mars is the Roman, Ares is the Greek god of war. Martial, military, of war, pretty simple. Art. Art's the word a lot of people think they have an understanding of, but if you ask everyone a definition, everyone's going to have a little definition. So I looked it up online, did some etymology research. I'm going to check my notes real quick. Art. A skill as a result of learning or practice, specifically human workmanship. So, martial art. But put them together, they have a slightly different meaning. And if we look up the etymology of martial arts together, you'll see a lot of references to what's believed to be the first coined usage of it, martial arts, which is a translation of the Japanese word bujutsu in 1909, which is kind of bu, military, jitsu, doings, art, so martial arts, bujutsu. But if you dig back further, this actually works in English back in the 1800s that talk about martial arts more as military maneuvers. Excuse me, water's important. Always drink water. Military maneuvers and such. But really to most people now, because language and usage changes, to most people when they hear martial arts, they think of Eastern or Asian martial arts. Karate, judo, jiu-jitsu, well, that's South American and Asian, we'll talk about that later. You know, taekwondo, Filipino martial arts, like that. So that's kind of, and how words get used and how they change through time and how people think of them, that actually becomes, usage prescribes definition over time. So the meaning of words change over time. But I don't want to go off on that tangent. Anyway, so we're talking about martial arts and the learning journey. So if you're here, maybe you're interested in martial arts, maybe you've been taking martial arts for a long time, maybe you're an instructor. We've got a lot of great stuff for instructors here too. Maybe you've never taken a martial art, but you're thinking about it. We got stuff for everybody. But I want to think about, real quick, I want to frame the context of martial arts to me is any, I'm going to say, physical combat and self-defense and spiritual style. It's got, it doesn't just have a physical element, doesn't just have a spiritual element, and that's what makes martial arts unique and to me so great. It's all that combined. Greco-Roman wrestling, savate, the French style, then of course the traditional ones I talked about, karate-do, judo, hapkido, taekwondo. Keep hearing that do. We'll talk about that in a minute. So anyways, that's martial arts in a nutshell. And as a practitioner of martial arts, it's been something that's been part of my whole life, and I can't see it not being part of my life till the day I die. So it's pretty important to me, and I enjoy it. I enjoy teaching people about martial arts. So hopefully there's something here that you can find useful, and you can, take and do with whatever you want. So I said do-sha is about martial arts and learning and the journey. So now let's talk about learning. Learning, teaching. The day you die is the day you stop learning. Always learn something new every day. I kind of at the end of each day, I try to reflect back and think, hey, what did I learn today? 2 days ago, I learned a really cool word that I never even knew about, albedo, about light shining off of surfaces. And anyways, but learning is kind of an interesting concept. When I think of learning, sometimes I think of my grandfather, and I'll tell you why. One time I had a college class, and I was all young and arrogant, and the woman that was teaching the class she was just deplorable. I couldn't stand her. And I came home all cocky and arrogant, and I told my grandfather, I don't respect that woman. I can't learn from her. I was so lofty, right? I was, 19 or something, who knows. So anyway, my grandfather just about jumped out of his chair and knocked me down to correct me, yell at me. He goes, you can learn from everyone. Don't ever think that. You're not so good, it doesn't matter who it is, what it is, you can learn something from everyone. And I got off my high horse about, if I don't respect her, I can't learn from her. And, and I actually learned a lot from my grandfather on that, and I looked back at the lessons I did learn, maybe not the lessons this woman was teaching, maybe the meta lessons there too, the lessons about all that. But so you can learn something from everyone and from anyone. Sort of. Now I'm going to say something that contradicts what I said. You don't learn anything from anyone. Or I should say, no one can teach you anything. Let's think about riding a bike. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, whoa, Steve, you're wrong there. My grandfather taught me how to ride a bike. Did my grandfather teach me how to ride a bike? I used to think he did for a long time. And I realized my grandfather taught me about riding a bike. When I say I know how to ride a bike, that's a kinesthetic, that's a body awareness, that's something that my being understands. Being on that bike, pedaling, the gyroscopic action and motion of the wheels that keeps you, like your body understands that through a body understanding of how to keep that bike upright and move forward. My grandfather didn't put that knowledge into me. I had to get that knowledge myself. My grandfather taught me about riding a bike. He told me what I need to do, held the seat, kind of pushed along as I was going, but until I actually did it enough times in my own self and understood it, I didn't know how to ride a bike. I just knew about it. The best way to learn to ride a bike, get on a bike and ride a bike. Same thing with martial arts. I'm not going to teach you martial arts. No one's going to teach you martial arts. I'm going to teach you about martial arts. But until you do it yourself, all you've learned is about martial arts. You can read 1,000 books in a chair and you'll know everything about it, but until you've actually done it and done enough repetition with muscle memory, then you just know about it. And that's a huge, huge difference. You can know about a lot of things, but actually knowing them is different. Water, important. So in this upcoming series, we're going to talk about a lot of different martial arts, a lot of stuff about how to pick the right martial art. If you're a beginner, which martial art is better than the other? Now, I'm sure all of the seasoned martial artists and instructors out there that are watching this, they're like, all ready to find out what I'm going to say about that, and everyone's got their opinion, but we'll talk about which martial art's better than which other martial art, how to find the right school. For teachers out there, we're going to have some discussions about different things that go on in your class when you're teaching. I think, also we got the comment section here, so I'd love to hear a lot of interesting comments about that. So now we're on to do-sha and the journey. So do-sha, what does that mean? Sometimes it's hard to find a literal translation for a word that is more of a concept, and that's one thing with Japanese, somewhat Korean, and Chinese is they use what's called kanji. If you're not familiar with those, if you are, you know what I'm talking about. Kanji is a Japanese word for Chinese characters, and these are picture graphs, kind of like almost like an emoji. That concept where this drawing or this picture, this character, written character, represents an idea. Now, for native, English speakers in most Western languages, you write a symbol, that letter represents the sound. With kanji, it's totally different. That letter, so to speak, represents an idea. And so sometimes these ideas can encompass a lot. And when you put them together, you can get the whole variety of language, which is pretty amazing. So, do-sha, let's break it down. Do-sha, right up there behind me. Do, if you'll notice, I mentioned before, I talked about hapkido, karate-do, judo, taekwondo. All these different martial arts have do in the end. Also, if you're familiar with Taoism, the Tao, do, it's all the same character. It's the top one up there. It means road. It means way, path, moral. So it's that whole concept of not just a road that there's another word in Japanese like michi or doro for road that you would drive on. This is more a road or a path or a way that you would follow in life. Like the Tao, the path, the way. Sha is kind of like a suffix kanji, and it means person who does, or agent of, or one who is about such and such. A lot of people are familiar with ninja, so that's also sha-ja, depending on the context, how you read it, how you pronounce it, but it means one who does. So in ninja, that sha or ja, nin, shinobi is stealthy acts, sha, one who does, so ninja, one who does stealthy acts. So a do-sha is someone who is a person of the path, a person of the way, and it's got spiritual connotations, spiritual implications, but martial arts has a spiritual component. So a person who is in that path of life or on that path is a do-sha. It's also in Chinese. It's also used to refer to certain Buddhist or Taoist people of the path. Someone who's on not just a journey, but a journey with purpose, a spiritual journey. Even like a pilgrim, not a pilgrim in the sense of the buckle hats that we landed when we had Thanksgiving and the Mayflower and all that, but think of like Chaucer back in 1100 AD. Those pilgrims that were on the holy pilgrimage to Jerusalem, or in Islam, people make pilgrimages to Mecca. So a pilgrim, a person on a journey, a spiritual path of life, is a do-sha. So this is do-sha life. This is all about being on the path of learning martial arts and that journey. So I really look forward to the upcoming videos. I really look forward to talking to y'all a whole lot more about all the different stuff that do-sha life is about. Like I say, we're going to go into the dojang, which is in my style, which is a Korean style. So we use the word dojang or dojang. A lot of people are more familiar with the Japanese term dojo. Same thing, training hall, place of do, place where you work on your path. So we're going to do some videos in the dojang where we're going to work on techniques, and I'm really going to break it down to the fundamentals. I've seen a lot of other martial arts videos on YouTube, and I've had people tell me, hey, I've tried to watch some YouTube videos, and they just boom, boom, do this and move on. We're really going to break it down and get into the weeds on it, get technical. I mean, we may do 2 videos on just how to take one step. I don't know. But we're also going to talk about some other things too. The videos that aren't in the dojang, maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll go out and do some hiking or backpacking, or maybe we'll work on some weapon stuff, or maybe we'll set up our own training equipment in the backyard or home. Maybe we'll go visit some different schools. I have a lot of friends that are martial arts instructors of different styles, so maybe we can even get some of them in here to talk about their styles. And hopefully we'll all learn something, and we'll learn about learning. So thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. And until next time,